Placenta encapsulation. Ever heard of that? It's rising in its popularity in America. It's actually been a process that's happened in many other cultures for many, many years. It just might be a new word to you, but it's been around for a long time. What is placenta encapsulation? First, what is the placenta? Let's start with that. Well, when this baby is inside mom, this baby's inside a sac. And inside that sac is the umbilical cord that attaches to what's called the placenta. And it has two sides. We have a side in here that is the side that the cord inserts into and goes into from baby side into mom. And then there's this side here that attaches to the uterus inside mom. And so mom's blood comes here, pools here, the placenta filters through what it wants to take and filters out and brings it into the baby via this umbilical cord, feeds the baby, takes the trash out that baby doesn't want, the old cells, and passes them out, and they come out here. And then mom takes the extra cells and processes them. Now, here's a placenta without this amniotic sac on it. A friend of mine made this for me, and it's showing the different vessels and things with it. It's really cool because the side that goes against mom's kind of plain, but the side that goes against baby has what we call the tree of life. So you can see the blood that's going into baby and the blood that's going out. So what is placenta encapsulation? What does that mean? Well, that means that somebody who's been trained to process this placenta is going to be hired to process this placenta for the mom. And so what that looks like is that she's found a service and paid for it. And when she's in labor and delivers her baby, she's going to alert the placenta encapsulist, who will then come and pick this up from her birth location, whether it's home or hospital. She will come and get this placenta, and it's usually put in bags. It's got ice put on it, and she picks it up in a carrier to take it out. When a placenta is born, we need it to be on ice within 4 hours. And if the encapsulus doesn't come to pick it up, then that ice needs to be refreshed every 4 hours or less to make sure that placenta stays cold. The placenta doesn't just sit out at room temperature for 6 or 8 hours. It doesn't go sit in someone's hot car. We're trying to make sure that it is kept cold. If the placenta is born at home with the mom, then it would be put in Ziploc bags, usually 2, because the first one's to hold it. The second one's just to make sure that we don't lose any blood out of it into the fridge. And then it can be placed in the fridge until the encapsulus comes to get it. When she comes to pick it up, that placenta then is put with ice and then a transport carrier to take out to the place where it's going to be processed. The placenta encapsulus will work in an area that has been sterilized, cleaned, bleached, that kind of thing. So it's going to be free from pets, free from any other disruption. And she usually has everything bleached down, laid out. The encapsulus will then put on an apron, a hat to keep her hair out, and we'll put gloves on as well while she's processing this. All the equipment the encapsulus uses has been cleaned properly and sterilized so that it can not transmit anything to the placenta she's working on. The equipment she uses only used for placenta encapsulation. It's not equipment she uses for her dinner or her lunch preparation. It's only used for placenta encapsulation. What happens is that we take this placenta out of the bag once we're in our protective gear with goggles and everything on, and then we're going to take this placenta out. We will rinse it and use a stainless steel strainer. If the mom is GBS positive, then we've rinsed this with vinegar to help get rid of any chance of GBS being run into with this placenta. If mom has an active STI, so sexually transmitted infection, we will not process that placenta, period. So I'm sorry, but if you have an active STI, placenta encapsulation is not for you. If you have something like AIDS, then, or HIV, you can have your placenta processed because that's already what's in your body. And so to have this placenta processed and to take it in a pill form is not going to be harmful to you. But we don't do it for someone who has an active sexually transmitted infection. GBS, strep B, how it's called, that's fine. Just let your placenta encapsulation know, and she's going to rinse it extra with that vinegar to treat it before she starts processing it. So our first step is to take this placenta. We will cut off this membrane from it. We don't need this membrane when we're processing it. And we'll also detach the cord from the placenta as well. We try to massage it while it's in the strainer to get any of the extra blood out of it because we don't need the blood. We just want the tissue to process. So we'll squish out as much blood as we can. And once that's all been squished and rinsed, we will put this in a stainless steel pot, once again, using stainless steel to keep everything clean. That stainless steel pot will be the steaming place of this placenta. So it usually has a steamer basket, that's stainless steel, and water down below it. Some encapsulates will use things like ginger or lemon, things like that they're steaming the placenta with. Eastern medicine belief is that if you were hot in labor, then you're not going to use any kind of herbs or spices when you steam the placenta because you need to balance your chi. But if you are cold in labor, then that placenta in the water will steam with it lemon, or it could be cayenne or jalapenos. Different things could be in that water to give warmth to a mom to balance out how cold she was in labor. So that's the more Eastern belief on that. Talk to your placenta encapsulate to see what she's going to do. Anyway, so it is steamed and kept that way, and we check the temperature of the placenta with a meat thermometer that's stainless steel again, and we're waiting till it gets to 180 degrees internally. When that placenta has reached 180 degrees, that tells us that we've possibly killed off anything it could have come in contact with, and that we're ready to go to the next step for processing. What happens with that is it comes out and is put on a cutting board. That is a disposable cutting board, so we're not using that same cutting board on another client. We're using it just with this client, and we'll take this placenta, we'll then slice it in very thin slices. And after those thin slices are complete, then we're laying it in our dehydrator. Our dehydrator also has layers in it of wax paper, so the placenta doesn't touch the actual dehydrator shelves. It's insulated from that, and we'll throw away all these things when we're done so that the placenta is not touching other people's spaces where theirs is going to be when I process the next one. It's put in that dehydration machine until it has dehydrated. Depending on where you live, it could take a long time, it could take a short time, but we wait until the pieces of that placenta are crispy, like crunchy and dry, not flexy and bendy. And once that's happened, then we're now going to go back into the kitchen. And once again, my place is clean. I'm in my gown with my apron, my hat, my gloves, and I have something to shred the placenta. Once again, this is not a device I use for my own smoothies, etc. It's only used for that placenta to process it. A lot of women that are processing the placentas will use things like a magic bullet to blend it within. And so they will then drop in pieces of that placenta and shred it up. It turns into a powder. And then they have a little tray that has all these little gel capsules, half of them on one half, half of on the other. And we take that placenta that we just shredded up in the magic bullet, and we pour it into all the capsules in the tray. Then the top is put on to each of those capsules, pressed together, and then they're ejected onto a clean surface. It's usually a bowl that we have that we're going to throw away when we're done as well. And then we just keep doing this to the placenta that we've dehydrated until it's all been shredded, all put into capsules, and then we put it into a dark jar. And the reason we do dark jars because we don't want sunlight to come in and break down what we've just put together. We also will add an oxygen absorber inside to that pill jar, put the top on it, and try to deliver it as soon as possible. We also might take and make a tincture from it. So that tincture is different than the dry pills in that it is a jar that has vodka in it. And then usually we'll take 10 of those capsules, we'll open them up and let that shredded placenta go into that vodka and throw away the capsules and then let that sit. So you might get delivered the placenta pills and a tincture, but the tincture is not ready for about 4 to 6 weeks. So we need time for that tincture to get the essence of the placenta inside that vodka. And so for the moment, you have your pills to take and you can wait till that tincture is ready. The neat thing about the tincture is that as you use the tincture, it can be replenished by just adding vodka back to that tincture mix. And then you can continue to have that for years on end. You might ask, how many pills do I take? How does that work? That is specific to you. We usually talk to our moms that we say don't start the placenta pills until your milk has come in. So usually around day 3 or 4. We have them also start out with a pill in the morning, a pill in the afternoon, and a pill at night. And just see how that works for you. Each woman is different in her dosing and what works. So it's kind of an experiment to see what is best for you. What we don't want is a mom to feel like too alert or too buzzy from it. It usually makes them feel energetic and happier. And we want to kind of meet that happy ground, not that anxious, like, whoa, this is good. For me, I found the best time for me to take them was in the afternoon. And I could take 3 in the afternoon, somewhere around 3 to 5, when I just was feeling my energy wane and I needed kind of that little like burst of energy. So I would take about 3 of them in that time period. And that was enough for me to make it through the evening and still go to bed. Interesting for me, when I took 4, by midnight, I'm still like, buzzy. So I learned, okay, 4 is not for me, 3 is for me. But that is a little experimentation for yourself to figure out what's best for you. Some moms take 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, and 2 at dinner. Some take 4 in the morning and none the rest of the whole day. Like, you just kind of figure out what's best for you. How do you take the tincture? Well, one, you have to wait until it's ready, which is about 4 to 6 weeks. And then the tincture is you take a glass of water, you take a couple drops, put them in the glass of water and drink it. Has the same effectiveness as the pills, but we just have to wait till the tincture is ready for us to be able to use it. Now, I know you're probably wondering, after all this, what is the benefit of this placenta encapsulation? Well, when mom gives birth, she loses a lot of iron and other rich nutrients that she needs to take back into her body. And so having this placenta encapsulated can help her with that. We want that placenta encapsulated by day 3, or it needs to be frozen. So a mom who's kept that placenta in the fridge for a week, sorry, not a good candidate, should not encapsulate that anymore. Just too many factors at risk here. Plus, what is in that placenta, like the nutrient side of it, goes down every day that we're not processing it. So processing it on day 1 as fast as we can is going to get the most nutrients back to mom. Processing it by day 3 is still good, but really that's the end. Like, we need to process it or freeze it. Freezing your placenta at that point is kind of just that holding it in place until we want to process it. So if you're on the fence, don't know what I want to do with my placenta, take it home and put it in the freezer and wait. And if you want to have it processed, the encapsulist can do that. She can take it, she can thaw it, she can turn it to pills. But if it's been 5 days in the fridge, she's not going to process it for you. It's too risky. So just be aware of that it needs to be processed quickly and not put off, or it needs to be frozen, one of those two. And the amount of pills is up to you. And when to take them, up to you yet again. But for myself and for the clients that I've noted, I see a vast difference. I see these moms make more milk. I see these moms be less depressed. I see these moms feel more capable and bonding with their child and just a happier time. Usually the recovery is faster for them. Their bleeding is shorter, like so many plus sides to it. And I haven't actually ran into a negative side yet. We just usually recommend don't start it until you have your milk come in, so day 3. And that's not because of a negative effect. It's because if your milk doesn't come in with engorgement and all of that side, we want to make sure that it's easy to figure out what's going on. We don't have to figure out like, oh, we'll stop this pill and stop that to figure out what is happening with your milk supply. So once that milk supply is in and running well, that's the time that we say to start your placenta pills. But the majority of my clients, I just see positive results. Even in husbands that are a little unsure about this, it's amazing as they see their wife be happier and brighter and more willing to be with this baby and be part of life, just how much better it is. I kind of compare it to this. When I'm postpartum, I just feel a little heavy. I feel like I'm a little under the water. It's just struggling for me. And when I take my placenta pills, I don't feel 100% everything's great, but I feel like my head just kind of came above water and I can navigate everything so much easier. I can handle what's happening to me. I can feed my baby. I cry less. It just feels like it's more me. I think about taking a shower. I think about feeding myself. Like it just is a happier time for me. But once again, it's something that you can experiment with, that you can be on the fence about, not sure, and decide to freeze your placenta and maybe encapsulate later. That is fine as well. Or have it encapsulated and go ahead and try it out. But so far, I've seen good results. When you're interviewing an encapsulist, you do want to ask her about her training, how she's trained. Was it just a weekend thing? Was it a whole course online that she spent many, many hours and days and weeks? What was her training? Did she apprentice with somebody? What was her training to do encapsulation? And then I would want to ask her, how does she clean her supplies? How does she maintain them? And does she use them for things other than placenta encapsulation? I'd also want to know, is she wearing a protective apron, protective gloves, that kind of things while she's working with my placenta? And then also making sure my placenta, when it transports to her home to process, that my placenta is never sitting in the car or anything like that, that it's processed quickly and that it comes back to me. So I'll ask those questions about it. And then see too, when it's delivered to you, is your tincture and are your pills put in a brown colored or blue colored jar to keep the light out? Or are they just in a clear jar where the light is going to affect them? So, and think about these questions and ask and filter out your encapsulists because they're not all the same. Do your due diligence, learn about that as a partnership, and hire the person that's right for you. So there's a little bit about placenta encapsulation, the beauty that it is and the help it is, what it looks like, how it's processed. It might sound weird to you. Do more research, ask around, see what moms around you have experienced. And you might be surprised at how many people are telling you it's incredible. Personally, I would always have placenta encapsulation for all of my births. Having done it both ways, I felt the difference and I felt how much better my life was for myself and for those around me when I did go ahead and have that encapsulation and I did take the pills. And then I could use that tincture for a long time. You can even use that tincture later when the baby's teething to put the tincture on the baby's gums to help with that. It's amazing how that tincture can be used. I can take it when I'm doing my monthly cycle, when I'm far past baby, being a baby. I can just keep taking it to help me because it's my organ. I grew it. It's catered just to me, and I can use it to help me in my cycles. I don't know, maybe when I hit menopause, I'm going to use it and try to help myself at that time too. I haven't reached that point yet, but I'm going to experiment with that. So a lot of different uses for it. Most other countries outside of America, it's very, very common for them to encapsulate their placenta, steam it, put it in pills, and that kind of thing. So look around, do your research. There's a little bit of synopsis of like what placenta encapsulation is and how it affects you, and make sure that you've screened your capsulist before you hire them.